Hello everyone and welcome back to another Getting Stuff Painted, my bi-weekly give or take update on the various things I've been painting for the games we cover here on the channel. We've had a casualty, a clothesline has fallen over. That's part of the reason why you'll probably never end up seeing it in a video, because it does not hold under its own weight, but we'll get to that. This time around we have some DC Universe to cover, some Batman miniature game, a lot of scatter terrain that we'll talk more about, a little bit of Nemesis Lockdown, because I don't think I've covered these in a video yet. Well, they've been in videos but not a painting update. Tiny bit of Bot War and a big old chunk of Star Wars Legion to finish on, and right at the tail end, just before recording this, finished off something else, Fallout Wasteland Warfare. So without further ado, I'm pausing to throw a ball, so I guess there is further to do, and then we'll start talking. So to finish off the zombies that I was talking about last time with Zombie Flash and Zombie Aquaman, we have the Zombie Wonder Woman that I hadn't quite finished last time in time to include in the video. This is the last of the first zombie DC Universe releases that Night Models did. They have since done a different box with the Joker, Batman, Harley Quinn and Deadshot. Not bothering, because now that I know they're just skins, I don't see the need. Why is my camera trying to focus down here? That's very strange when Wonder Woman is up here. So again, the zombie skin is just a wash over the base coat of Grey Seer. Then we have some Blood Angels red, Talisar blue, Nazdrag yellow, and Black Templar for her hair. And that is the Fang on top of Basilicanum grey for the cobblestone base that she's standing on. And then copious amounts of blood for the Blood God, because she is a zombie after all, and has eaten many a person, or ripped them apart anyway, either way. So that is it for DC Universe. I still need to get through the Red Lanterns, and I'm forgetting something else. There is definitely something else. Either way though, from the Batman miniature game, we have a new Penguin Thug. This is part of his most recent reinforcements that came out at the same time as the kind of like Free Agents box he got with Mr. Toxic and whoever else. Didn't pick them up at the time, found them cheap. I wasn't interested in the other Thug that is in the box on a motorbike. I don't like motorbike miniatures in Batman, and I don't think they look great, and I hate the bases they're on. But this guy's fun. He's a tough guy with a shield, and he's good for bodyguarding your boss, staying close by. And he's a fun miniature to paint. He's overly chunky gentleman. So that is Space Wolf's great for his jean colour, because it's like the perfect denim colour for her models. Gilliman Flesh for his skin tones, and a mixture of, well actually this is Basilicanum grey on his jacket and shirt, but you'll notice it looks like it's two different shades. That's just because a double coat went on the jacket to just darken it and separate it a little bit, because it wasn't quite black looking in the official paint job, so that's why I didn't use black. And Blood Angels red for the stop sign he's decided to make use of as a shield. He is holding that axe all wrong, incidentally. It looks like he's about to drop it on his own head, but you know, either way. Black Templar for his beard, which didn't apply super great honestly, and some snakebite leather for his shoes and his belt. Let's see if we can get in a bit closer. There we are, right there. And do I have a ball at my foot to throw? Oh, I do. She holds on to it in her mouth for just slightly too long, which means I'm gonna have to do a break to stretch over. Alright, there we go. See, she drops it, but then she sees me reaching for it, so then she forgets that she hasn't fully let go of the ball yet, so she goes to run away to wait for me to throw it, and doesn't realise the ball's still in her mouth. Anyway, we have Viking Batman, a paint job I'm not particularly happy with at all. I did try and match up, as it turns out, the official paint job. There's a very cool looking Viking Batman versus Dragon Joker, and this is what this is based on. He's from the death metal, like multiple universe Batmans. And I did try and match up the colours. The colours themselves are correct, but I just don't think they look that great on them. I kind of wish I hadn't looked for references and just tried my own hand, but you know. Flesh Tear red for the inside of his cape, Black Templar for the outside of his cape. The ice base is the exact same way as I did for the Mr. Freeze miniatures, so I'm not going to bother covering that again. Armour itself, a lot of lead belcher silver, with some Nazdrag yellow for gold highlights, and also some snakebite leather and wildwood as well for his various belts, buckles, and a little bit of blood for the Blood God on the axes. So this is the mini that you would get as part of the event kit that I did an unboxing of. You get one of these and 3 aces, the dog, and this is meant to be like a prize you give away if you're doing an official tournament with the Batmatch rules. But you can just buy it if you want. You can just buy the event pack like I did. He is very, very powerful. I haven't used him on the table yet, but he's very clearly severely undercosted. He only costs 100 rep and is very, very powerful. Not much of a support piece, but he is a murder machine and we'll almost certainly see a price rise at some point in terms of like within the game rules. So next, anyone feel like camping? This is an entire Scatter Terrain camping themed set by TT Combat that I decided to pick up because occasionally we run like wooden terrain maps. It'd be perfect for Don't Look Back when we do those, the horror miniature game that we play here. And just in general, Scatter Terrain for those types of fights, like Crisis Protocol has occasional forest maps that we use. So this is everything you get in the set, everything fully painted. As I say, they're not likely to ever see this because the clothesline is like, it's super hard to make it balance correctly. But oh hey, I got it. It is like any slight, see, sadly not quite great, and if you put a little bit of blue tack on it you risk damaging mats. I've tried that in the past and it does not work very well, but I painted it up anyway. Same Space Wolves for the jeans, that's just the base coat with a wash over the top. That is Talisar Blue and that is Volupus Pink for the towel on the end there. But it is neat, it's very nice detail. Contrast paint had or the base coat had a little bit of trouble sitting on it even after I washed them, but not too bad. That is why I didn't use contrast paint for the tents, because they're too flat. I tried and it just looked awful, so instead I just went over them with a couple of coats of normal paint, and I think it turned out better. Like I left the seeped kind of shadow cornery bits, so this is mostly Militarum Green, the normal Citadel paint for this tent. And this one I think was Calgar Blue or Cantor Blue, is that what it's called? The other slightly darker blue for this tent. Simple enough, you can see what it is, and that's all that's needed for Scatter Terrain, just to add a little bit of flavour. You also get the cooler here with the handle on there for your beers, and this is just Talisar Blue as well, and of course a 6-pack of beers as well comes with it. Very small, I'm not sure if this is going to be in focus, but hey, try my best with that one. So you get your beers, you get your tents, you get 2 sleeping bags. This was pretty cheap as well. I think it was like £7 or something for this terrain set. So we've got 2 sleeping bags. That's a Yandin yellow with a wash over the top to give it shadow and give it that kind of weird, you know, the look I'm meaning. That's what the underside looks like. Then you get one kind of singular stump, and then 3 of these stumps, and also a pile of wood. The cut bits of wood were done in snakebite leather. The normal wood itself is wildwood. Again, not much to see, but it just adds nice flavour. And the big centerpiece is the Roaring Campfire, which is a mixture of Gryph-hound orange, Yandin yellow, Blood Angels red, Basilicanum grey, and I forget which one of the wood colours I used, but honestly the kind of flame effect is drowning it out. It was probably wildwood. Well, it might have been snakebite leather, actually. I'm not sure. But either way, you can make it look like it's roaring, or I guess if you trimmed it down you can make it look like it's been extinguished. But it's just a night, like as you probably know if you've watched these, I hate scenery, I hate colouring or painting scenery. But Scatter Terrain isn't too bad because it's on the smaller side, and it really adds just that nice little bit of flavour when you're making a table to have these little kind of stories being told. Especially in a game like Don't Look Back, if you have this kind of abandoned campsite, all you're missing is a few like corpse piles or whatever. So you'll be seeing these either as a whole or, you know, parts of in the future as we do those kind of woodland maps. One ball throw layer. Next we have 2 miniatures from Nemesis Lockdown who have already been in 2 Nemesis Lockdown videos, so I don't need to talk about them too much. Oh, the base toppers are not on as secure as I thought they were. There we go. So this is the hacker character from Nemesis Lockdown, and try to match up to, well, I was going to say the official paint job. I mostly just look around for how other people painted them as well. I like fitting the colour theme to the base topper they're supposed to have because it matches the colour scheme of their board and their cards, etc. So this is Warp Lightning, Yandin yellow for the visor, a lot of Lead Belcher silver, some Blood Angels red for one of the wires with some Black Templar as well, and some, I think that's Talisar blue on the screen, I think it is. And a wash over the top, that was Null Oil over the top just to add a little bit of shadow. And the base is a mixture of Lead Belcher silver and a little bit of Army Painter rust, just a little bit, just to create a little bit of rust feeling. It's actually a very effective very effective paint. You just need it ever so slightly tiny bit on your brush and you just rub it in and on silver, and it creates a really authentic looking rusted look. It's a very effective paint. Did the same thing for the Sentry here, although I must admit I don't really like his miniature. The way he looks is a little weird. Also, I got a damaged one. I got a defective one. He's holding his gun weird, but he is meant to have an SMG, and it's meant to have a barrel poking out here, as I saw when I went looking for references. Sorry, I don't know if that's in focus or not. I think it is. So I did get a damaged miniature, sadly. But it's not too bad. It looks like he's holding like a communicator or something instead. But that's a lot of Talisar Blue, Leadbelcher Silver, Wildwood for his weird cape thing. And again, non oil over the top, and some of that rust paint for the bottom. I've used that a few times now, and that's probably the most effective it's been on these kind of like gratings that, like, even the miniatures from the first version of Nemesis were the same. And before I pause though, actually, you know what, the ball's right there, so I'll throw the ball. There's the ball. She waits very patiently. Let's cover the one miniature I've got to talk about from Botler. This is part of the Valiant side of the second edition starter set that I've started on them. Slow and steady. This is the smallest one. I fancied a sniper miniature to be available for the team because I figured this is a sniper, because look at him. He's small, he's using a sniper rifle, so he's probably very ranged combat based at long range. Militarum green, Leadbelcher silver, Black Templar, and just some sand on the base as well with a little bush. The bush is by Army Painter. I think that's from, actually, you know what, that is not. That's just someone on eBay who makes that type of one, but Army Painter do some. The ones you're going to see in a second on the Star Wars Legion is definitely Army Painter. They do a set called Wasteland Tufts, I think it is, and that's the ones I use. Same for the Fallout Wasteland Warfare miniatures. But yeah, not much to say about him. He's a very small miniature. He's the smallest one of the Valiants that come in that set. Very quick to paint up, but adds another ranged character to the potential pool of characters to use. So, from Star Wars Legion, we have the very unfortunately named Death Troopers, which, that might send a bad message that they're the bad guys or something, instead of just like peacekeepers. But we have the full squad. I finished the box super quick because, there's not much to them. So I'll just show them all off as I go over how I painted them. But there's there's a leader in here, there's 2 special weapons you can add as well, and then there's the base unit size. But for the most part, they were base coat and grey seer, as always. Then they took a layer of Black Templar over the whole thing, and then on top of that, a dry brushing of the Fang, which is my favourite thing to dry brush over pure black to give it a little bit of definition. It's not quite blue, it's not quite grey, it's in that nice middle bit between the two, and then once you do a wash over the top with non-oil, it dulls it down even more, because at first it will probably look a little bit too bright, or a little bit too blue as well. But when you dull it down again with a little bit of non-oil, it just leaves that little bit of edge highlight on the black that I think picks out the detail more, and it's especially important when the miniature is just pure black armor. For their visors, as far as I could tell, the official, I was going to say the official paint job, I was going by the drawing on the box. It looks like they're supposed to be green, so I just gave them dollops of Plague Bear flesh, I think that was, for their visors. But they get dulled down a bit too if you go with them with non-oil. You can brighten them back up, of course. I kind of like them being dull because they're Death Troopers. They don't care about being flashy. They're here to murder you. And this one is just chucking a grenade. I think they come as standard with grades. Actually, no, you might have to buy the upgrade. This is not in focus, is it? There we go. So, same job for him as well. Simple but effective. Oh yeah, and the bases. That is one of the Citadel special texture paints. You just apply it and then it cracks as it dries. And the Wasteland Tufts were what I was talking about by Army Painter. Just stick them on with a little bit of PVC glue. And then last, already, feels like I haven't blathered as much this time, but I haven't seen how long I've been talking yet. Another Brotherhood of Steel Power Armor Knight, who's having trouble focusing, I feel. There we go. That's definitely in focus. Again, armed with just the laser gun and in a kneeling position. This, I feel like if you're fighting an enemy in power armor, they always take this stance in the game, which is probably what it's based on. I covered painting 2 of these last time, I believe, so it's basically the exact same job again, so I don't really need to go over it, but just as a matter of note, that is yet another Brotherhood of Steel power armor suit. So they're going to be very strong when it comes to doing some more Wasteland Warfare. With how many, I think that's 4 in total if you use the one from the starter set that's kind of, what's it called? Oh, I can't remember his name. The guy who's looking for his journal. Either way, I think that's 4 suits of power armor they've got access to now. So that's definitely going to give them the edge in battle and will help kind of plan out some stories when Season 2 launches. Again, aiming for the end of June, more likely the start of July probably. But getting there. He'll be here soon. But anyway, that is going to conclude. I never even noticed this fell over. Another painting update for the things that have been getting painted. As for next time, there will definitely be some Crisis Protocol, because the new releases have arrived. In the process of painting Supergiant at the moment, and then what's the other lady called? I was going to say Black. I keep on wanting to say Black Lotus, but that's the Magic the Gathering card. It's not Black Lotus, it's something. Either way, they'll be getting painted up for sure. Still fingers crossed that the new Batman starter set arrives, because it should have been dispatched by now. Some people have apparently got theirs, but I don't think mine's even been dispatched. Night Models has not changed when it comes to consistent dispatching of orders, sadly, but if that does arrive, I'll definitely start working through those as well. Beyond that, some more Fallout Wasteland Warfare for sure. Got some stuff to do with that. No more Scattered Terrain for now, thankfully, because I don't mind Scattered Terrain, but terrain in general is just a no-go area for me. So, that about covers it. If you want to show me what you've been painting, feel free to do so on Twitter. The link to my Twitter is below. If you want to just add me with pictures of what you've been doing, I don't mind. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in about 2 weeks for another update. Until then, ta-ta for now.